The last remaining great moat is brand and community. It's the human touch and the people connection. Brand and community leads to distribution. Distribution leads to lower cost of marketing. Your lower CAC means to more sales, right? If I were talking to you, I would say, Chris, the first night dinner is at the ballroom at Ryan's $250 million listing. Like, let me say that again. It's crazy, Chris.
Hey, welcome to the Message Market Fit podcast. I'm your host, Chris Silvestri. This is the show where we chat with B2B SaaS folks, marketers, product leads, growth owners, and founders about how they join the conversation already happening in their customers' mind. We unpack how they think, how they research, and how they shape messages that actually move the needle. No fluff, just systems, insight, and strategy you can actually use. Quick note before we dive in. This podcast isn't sponsored. It's supported by Conversion Alchemy, my own consulting business. So if you're listening and thinking, I wonder how aligned our messaging actually is, check out the Message Market Fit Scorecard. It's a free diagnostic tool I built to help B2B SaaS teams pinpoint exactly where their messaging might be breaking down. You'll find the link in the show notes. I'm super excited for this episode. This is a messaging breakdown where we dissect a real piece of copy and uncover what makes it work. You can watch this episode on YouTube to see the email we break down. Today's guest is Kyle Scott. He's SVP of Partnership, Brand, and Community at Luxury Presence, one of North America's fastest growing property technology companies. He's also the co-founder of Sell It with Ryan Serhant, which is how I actually stumbled on him. I'm a huge Ryan Serhant fan. And Kyle is also a former NBC News producer. In this episode, we unpack one of his highest performing emails, an invitation to a $250 million penthouse event, and explore how voice, tone, and storytelling combine to create exclusivity and desire. Let's dive right in. Hey, Kyle, thanks so much for being here. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. This is one of my favorite topics, and I am so glad to be here to talk all about tone of voice.
I love having you because you're the perfect example of someone who's, I think, at the interaction of content, brand, but also business results. We are going to look at an email, a couple of things as well. If we have time, we'll see. But I want this to be super actionable, and we'll try to glean some of the insights that we can get for our B2B audience. But at the same time, I think all of this is going to be pretty much universal. What we're doing is we are going to look at that email, deconstruct the anatomy, why it works, and how listeners can apply the lessons, right? So let's set the stage first before showing the email. What was the context behind the email? Who was it for? And what was the goal?
Yeah, so at the time that I wrote this email, I was president of Serhant Ventures and co-founder of Sell It, which was one of Ryan Serhant's many companies. Ryan Serhant is this celebrity real estate agent. If you don't know the name, you certainly know his face from either $1 Million Listing New York or now on Netflix. He has a show called Owning Manhattan. As we are recording this, season 2 is coming out sometime in the near future on Netflix. We had been doing this business for about 3 years at this point, and we were having every year, we were having more and more events. So we were going to have this massive November event in which we brought real estate agents in from all around the world, and we were selling tickets. So let me give you the sense of what the goal here. The goal, of course, was revenue, right? This was a money-making event for the company, but also it was community building. We built a digital membership subscription community with 26,000 agents from 126 countries. And we found time and time again in a digital membership community, you have to have a way to bring those community members together in person, to, even if it's once a year, but it reinforces those bonds and it makes the product so much stickier and so much more valuable to the community. So we're throwing this big event, and we had a unique opportunity to have it at the most expensive penthouse listing in New York City ever on the market, a $250 million triplex at Central Park Tower. It is absolutely insane of an opportunity. It is truly a once in a lifetime opportunity. So it was going to be dinner the night before. If you came to this gala, I think we had something like 80, 100 people. And then the next day there was a full day mastermind and then a half day mastermind the next day. tickets to this, if I remember correctly, were somewhere around $7,000 for the VIP, and I think a little bit less for non-VIP. So it was
was it
expensive.
limited? Was it like a limited spots?
Oh, for sure. This was the ballroom. It was the highest ballroom, I believe, in North America.
Yeah.
But
I think
because of that,
I
of course, there's a
walked.
capacity. It's not like we have a
Yeah,
limited capacity. It's a ballroom. It
yeah,
only
yeah.
fits so many people. There's a fire code.
I walked under that building. I think it was 2 years ago. It was there. It was impressive, massive.
It's like you look up, you stand under it, you look up. It's almost like it never ends. That's how
Yeah.
tall it is. And I have the stat here when we get into it. It's 1,416 feet is the height of this ballroom.
Great. Yeah, yeah. I wanted to ask as well, because I always pay attention to context, right? When someone lands on any piece of messaging, what did these people that you sent the email to, what did they see before the email? What was their experience? What did they know?
They knew about so this was our email audience, and we had, I believe, around 110,000 people on our email list at the time. It was a wide audience, right? They all knew Ryan Serhant. They all knew the brand. They all knew his association with luxury real estate. They expect a high-end touch. They also expect, frankly, we're going to sell them something because they're on an email list and they're real estate agents who are used to being sold things all the time. So it's residential real estate agents. Yes, there's some commercial real estate agents. Yes, there are professionals in other fields who are inspired by the sales training methods that we developed. Because frankly, you can apply these to all sorts of independent businesses. But it's real estate agents with a high to relatively high no trust factor with this luxury real estate brand.
Cool. How do you define voice, and how does it differ from tone as well?
Yeah. So there's something that I want to address when we talk about voice, because I think that it's underplayed for people who don't understand media and marketing. Margaret Atwood has a quote. She's a famous author. She's a quote that I absolutely love, which is, "A word after a word is power." And if you think back to all the great movements throughout human history, they were all inspired by and led by a really compelling orator. And I use the word orator here on purpose. And I'm not using the word leader. Leader can mean many things, but to be the most effective leader, to lead change, to lead a vision, you have to be very intentional in how you speak, how you frame things, and the personality, the cult of personality that you are building behind every single word choice. So when we think about tone, when we think about voice, I want to start from a place of it is the most important part of your marketing. You got to go all the way back before you think about product, before you think about features, before you think about benefits. You got to think about who are you and who are you speaking to?
Yeah.
And
Totally.
what angle do you want to play? So it's at the end of the day, voice is simply best said as it's your written personality.
Cool. And I think I'm like the way that I see it, voice is let's say we're having a movie, right? The voice is the actor and tone is the character that it's playing. Is that pretty much an accurate?
I'm going to look at it a little bit different. I would say, so in a movie context, what's the difference between voice and tone? That's a really nuanced definition. I've used those two words interchangeably. How are you using? I'll give you an answer. Actually, I do have an answer to this. Voice is the personality. Tone is the sort of the decoration on the cake, the inflection point.
Yeah.
How you speak.
Yeah. So the personality for you, does that pretty much stays the same and the tone is the one that changes?
Yeah, that's a really great way to frame it. The voice stays the same. The voice always stays the same. So in your metaphor, I would actually just say the voice is the character. Take the actor out of it because the actor's playing a character. The actor is the person behind the character. I would say voice is the character. The tone is the way that they speak in different situations.
The scene.
So let's use a classic that everyone can relate to. James Bond. James Bond is going to always be James Bond, whether he is dealing with a love affair or he is dealing with the evil villain. It's a different shade of James Bond, but it's always James Bond. But his tone that he uses when he's talking to his love affair is a different tone than what he's using when he's talking to the villain.
Yeah, got it. Yes. I'm curious about the kind of the operational aspect of using voice. Did you write these emails? Was it all you, or did you have a team? How did
I personally wrote these emails. Look, as I was growing, so I grew this business to $10 million a year in annual revenue. As I grew the team, I grew to a 35-person team. As I grew it, the writing was the last thing I gave up personally as the co-founder, as the president of this, because it was so important. And now, of course, the voice is written in Ryan Serhant's voice, right? That is the voice of the company. So one of the common questions that I get about voice all the time is, how do I learn to write and speak in someone else's voice? The answer depends on if it is a business or a person, but ultimately it goes back to person. Now, let me talk about person first, if you're writing for a person, and then we can talk about writing for a business. Because like I said, it all starts in person. Best way to do it is to listen to that person. Find out all of the ways and places that this person has spoke and just listen. Remember, we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. We are all chameleons, and some more so than others. I tend to be personally more of a chameleon in that I absorb the speaking style of the people around me. Back in 2016, when I was at NBC News and I was covering the Trump-Clinton campaign, because I was watching so much Trump, I started adapting some of his mannerisms into my own style of speaking. And then I moved on to Ryan and then started adapting some of his mannerisms. So it became really easy to me. Now, that's how to do it for person if you're working for a person or you need to represent a personal brand. On the business side, it's similar in that at the end of the day, your job as a B2B marketer is to embody a personality, i.e. embody a person, right? That's the root of that word, personality. You have to embody a person in how you're representing the business. So what I recommend to do is find the real people, the real media personalities out in the world that represent and would sound like that business. So for example, if you're Budweiser, you may listen to Mike Rowe, who does the dirty jobs guy. Yeah. You might listen to him and people who are more like him, country singers, that heartland Americana that you might do. If you are, let's say, I don't know, you are a luxury brand, Louis Vuitton. Maybe you're going to listen to the way the French president talks, Macron. Maybe you're going to listen to the way King Charles talks, right? Find your, not luxury influencers, but find those unreachable people who are true like royalty, fashion forward. Listen to how they talk and then embody that in your brand.
Love it. Yeah. Basically anchoring yourself to something higher, something that represents your brand, right?
Yes. And at the end of the day, like if you're a marketer, if you're doing this, even if you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, you should have a clear set of personas that you're speaking to. So when you're thinking about that, think about who these personas would relate to and aspire to be. So that way you could find the right voice for the character that is your brand.
Speaking of personas, I have a question that, especially because you mentioned the audience, you knew your audience very well. How do you balance the voice of the brand with the audience's language? Do you try to use and mirror some of the language back, or is it more for you using strictly the brand's voice, or how does it work for you?
The brand's voice should be informed by your persona. And you'll see in this email example that we're using, you should be speaking at the level of your audience. So typically, typical guidance is to write at a 4th grade level. That's fine. You should always follow that. But if there are jargony terms that your audience will understand, speak in their jargon, right? Because you are one of your audience. You're the persona, but you are like the most realized version of your audience. So you'll see in this email, we use the word triplex. Triplex, when we're talking about Central Park Tower, is not a common term, right? Like I used to work at NBC News and our audience was sort of Heartland America, right? That's the core audience who watches the Today Show, for example. They would never use the word triplex. And I would never write in a script for a Today Show the word triplex. I would write a 3-story home or something like that. But this is real estate. This audience knows the word triplex. And that is such a uncommon word, even though they know what it is, that it turns heads. This is not a duplex penthouse. This is a triplex penthouse. Like you're leaning into how insane that jargony word is to really turn the head of the person reading it and have that stand out as something so unique that they want to be there and be a part of it. So it comes down to something as specific as individual word choice when you're thinking about both voice and tone.
Yeah. It kind of makes them feel like an insider, kind of like there with you. And
yeah, you're speaking your language. I am you. You're my people.
All right, awesome. Let's pull up the email, I would say.
Yeah,
And go through it.
let me share my screen. I love this email, by the way. And here's the thing. This was written before AI. So this came out of my head today. Hang on, let me just
I'm
find it.
human.
Yeah, today you should start, like, you 100% should start with AI as a draft. Don't take the AI output. Like right now, ChatGPT 4.5, the 4.5 model is the best. I used to say Claude, and now I'm 4.5. I'll probably swing back to Claude at some point. But anyway, this is the email. So this was the first email, a 2-hour email list, about 110,000, announcing this event. So subject line, early access, mastermind summit at $250 million Central Park Tower penthouse. A couple of things, even to point out in the subject line. Knowing our audience, knowing real estate agents, and knowing that Ryan and luxury real estate is exclusive, knowing how much real estate agents love being exclusive. They're like the people who like get really excited when you pull back the velvet rope. Early access, even though this went out to the whole list, early access means something to them, especially coming from the Serhant brand. And then they knew what a mastermind is because we've been doing mastermind for three years. So jargony, yes, but it means something to our audience. And then, of course, $250 million will stand out. This is the pinnacle of real estate. Next, actually, let me point out. So a lot of people with marketing will write marketing emails. It's formatted. It's got the header. It looks like a marketing email. Drives me crazy because you should use the marketing emails for more general email communication. But if you want to stand out for a big announcement, write a quote unquote personal email. So this was sent through HubSpot, but it looks like it was designed to be as though I just sent it from, we used Outlook at Serhant, as though I sent it from Outlook. So personal.
Yeah.
And I said, hi there. Super casual, but also not so casual. That's, hey, since you're on the mastermind waitlist, we want you to be the first to know. Again, colloquial, right? Since you're on the we want you to be the first to know, our mastermind is bigger and better than ever before, and seats are now open. This voice, this persona is larger than life. Everything is amplified when it comes to Serhant. So we talked with bigger and better. This type of language is not going to work for every brand, but this is what we've established. High energy. Here's the big news, not the big news, the big news. The first night dinner is in the ballroom at Ryan's $250 million listing at Central Park Tower. Let me say that again. It's so important. We have to say it again, but we write as we speak. This is like, Chris, if I were talking to you, I would say, Chris, the first night dinner is at the ballroom at Ryan's $250 million listing. Let me say that again. It's crazy, Chris. It's at his $250 million ballroom. This thing has a ballroom at the one-of-a-kind triplex, there's your word, at Central Park Tower. Chris, it's the tallest home in the world. It's 1,416 feet in the air. And guess what? It's the most expensive listing ever in the United States, right? Like you can imagine telling a friend that. Now, the other thing I'll say here, using highly specific language matters. Specificity sells. As you can tell, this is one of my big pet peeves. Lazy writers will say, this is high up above all the other skyscrapers in Manhattan. What is that? Like,
even just
you can
saying,
say, this is the tallest home in the world at 1,416 feet.
Yeah, instead of just saying, you could have just limited yourself to saying the tallest home in the world.
Tallest home, yeah, it's towering above. You don't even just say tower. This is the tallest home in the world. No, describe it. Have us feel it. And this drove me crazy when other people would write these emails. I'd be like, no, specificity. Turn up the specificity dial times 12.
Yeah.
And then, did you see this article in the Wall Street Journal about it? Credibility. Wall Street Journal. We're adding credibility. This is not just any home. This is a home that is so important. It was written about in the Wall Street Journal.
Before we move forward, how do you think about using other links? If you have one goal with this email, which is getting a reply, how do you think about inserting other links? Do you think it can be distracting if you have too many? How do you think about including this one?
Yeah, for sure it's too many. If you're too many, it could be a thing. In this case, I'm using this link to reinforce credibility, right? So I'm not linking to more information on ours. If I were linking to, you can read more about it here and it takes them to a brochure or some sort of sales page, probably not. This I'm specifically linking to the Wall Street Journal, which by the way has a paywall. So I knew putting this in, I knew they wouldn't be able to read the whole article, but that's not the point, Chris.
Yeah,
The
as long as they
point
see
is
the
that I'm
title.
giving credibility, taking them to the Wall Street Journal. And let me be frank on this one, Chris. Wall Street Journal has a prestige. I knew putting this in, many of our audience would not be paying for the $40 a month for the Wall Street Journal. So hitting that paywall is signaling exclusivity. You're building a world around this, and you have to, as a successful marketer, you have to think about every single thing that you're putting in these emails. I know this has a paywall. I know some people can't read the article that I'm telling them to read, but that's purposeful because hitting the paywall is exclusivity.
Yep.
This is an
Yeah.
exclusive opportunity.
Yeah, I love that you said you're building a world. Like every detail matters, and you're actually like constructing something in their mind, an image that they then will use to match what they're reading against and go back and forth. So it's a conversation that you're creating for them.
It is. I love that you reflected that back. You're world building. Then, since you're already on the wait list, we'd like you to reserve your seat before tickets sell out. So, scarcity, classic scarcity. And here's the thing: I can't stand when something that's supposed to be a personal email takes you to a sign up page. I think that is lazy marketing. Yes, I do know that emailing all of these people, I'm going to get a deluge of responses of people replying to me. I'm okay with that because I'm selling like a $7,000 ticket. I don't mind sitting there for 2 hours one night, personally replying to our clientele who want to buy $7,000 tickets. Sign me up all
Did
day.
you send the email to the entire list?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did because we wanted it to sell out fast. So I know two other things here. This says since you're on the mastermind wait list, but half the time people don't remember that they're on a wait list. They don't. Number one. Number two, there's internal storytelling here too. I would love to be able to say we sold out the ballroom at Central Park Tower Penthouse with one email. I would love to say that. Not only is it good internal selling, it also is then good externally because guess what? The next day we can put on social and say we put out an email. We sold out this exclusive thing you no longer have access to in one email. Guess what? Everyone now who's on social, who is not on our email list, who's interested in this type of thing, wants to get on the email list for the next time we do this.
Yeah.
Crazy. If you're able to tell that story. Now, you can't lie. Don't say that it's sold out if it didn't. That's just like unethical. But if I can create a sellout moment that's true that I could defend, that I can say, no, it really did sell out after one email. I want to shout that from the mountaintop all day, every day. Again, what's the world that we're building? This is an exclusive world. I would not play that if I was playing not-for-profit. If I was the American Cancer Society, I would not want to say we sold out our fundraising gala with one email. I want more people in that fundraising gala. Bring on the fundraising. So you got to think about the voice that you're using and think 5 steps ahead of the story that you're telling. It's not just this one email. It's what does this email do in the overall story that you're telling about your business, both internally and externally.
Yeah. Question about exclusivity. Why didn't you mention the number of spots available?
Yeah, good question. A couple of reasons. Number one is prior to this event, our mastermind dinners were usually capped at 25 people. This is a relatively large ballroom. It's not hotel ballroom. So I forget the cap. Like I said earlier, I think it was somewhere between 80 and 100 people. But if I put in capped at 100 people, that's too high of a cap. So that's number two. Number one is I want people who are on this to imagine and visualize it's a small thing, even though this is ballroom. But it only helps to help them visualize, oh, I've been to a past mastermind dinner, maybe it was small. And number two, 100 makes it just sound like you have time.
Yeah.
So like later on though, right? Remember, this was the first email. Later on, I could introduce, if I need to, additional storytelling. We only have 5 seats left. It capped 100 people in this ballroom. With the first email, we sold 90. Or if not true, we already, no matter how long this thing has been on sale, we already sold 90. We're shocked by how fast we're selling 90. We have 10 seats left. Who cares if it was on sale for a year? We already sold 90.
Yeah.
Already as compared to what? I don't know. You're not making it up. It's story. You're
Yeah.
telling the
You are
story.
controlling the frame as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. Let's move on. So reply to me again. Like I said, I purposefully want it at this stage to be personal. I don't care if it's going to take me 3 or 4 hours to reply to these people. That's totally fine. I will do that all day, every day if they're going to join us for a $7,000 ticket. Here's the details. I give the details. Again, it's not designed because this is a personal email. Right, it's a dinner, full day summit at Soho Grant. I see there's a typo here, which is ironic, which I'll talk about at Soho Grant on Friday. Breakout sessions at Serhant House HQ Saturday morning. So a couple things. Number one, it's okay that there's a typo here. I'm not going to make up that I purposely put it in, but also it doesn't kill anything because it's a personal email. It's like I was typing to them.
Especially now with AI, it can actually be a good thing.
Yeah. So it's fine. And number two, we could have said full day summit on Friday, breakout sessions on Saturday. We're adding specificity. Soho Grand is a well-respected, well-regarded hotel in Soho, Manhattan. High end. Same thing. Breakout session. I could have written breakout sessions at our headquarters, breakout sessions at Serhant. I did breakout sessions at Serhant House HQ. Yes, that is word salad. However, a couple things here. Number one, we call them Serhant House. It's not Serhant HQ. It's not the Serhant building. It's Serhant House. Again, that word house. Number one, this is residential real estate. Number two, how that invokes a vibe of it's a small, intimate space, not an office. It's a house. Number one. Number two, HQ. I think at this point, we only had 2 offices. We had the New York office and we had the Hamptons office. HQ makes it sound bigger than life. Who has headquarters? Very large company and generals. Military generals have headquarters. Very large companies have headquarters because they have all these satellite offices. This is our headquarters. We only have 2 offices, but this is our headquarters. You're going to come to Serhant House headquarters. For this audience, that matters. Finally, keep in mind, again, we're writing as we speak. Hey, Chris, keep in mind, the triplex penthouse, again, using that special word, isn't a property that just any agent can bring clients to see. All showing agents are vetted. Exclusivity. And once it's sold, it will be forever closed to everyone but its new owner. Oh God, this is a once in a lifetime chance to get to the $250 million penthouse. That is the highest residential space in North America. It is a once, and then we go on to say it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. Crazy. So all of that is to go to say, we're weaving this story throughout. We're talking about exclusivity. We're talking about scarcity. We're talking about if you want to go up there, you can't just be, I'm an agent, I'm going to bring my client. No, you're vetted to go up there. This is your chance. That's the email. Any questions?
Love it. Yes. I was wondering, when you write these emails, do you have a framework in mind? There's, for example, the ADA framework: attention, interest, desire, action.
No.
It's mostly writing from intuition.
I'm writing from intuition for sure, but I don't want to say that intuition wasn't learned off of frameworks. I'm writing as I speak. So I never really think about it like that. I think maybe beginning copywriters maybe think about it like that, but I never went to copywriting school. I was an applied economics and management major with a concentration in accounting and finance at Cornell University. I have my MBA. So my academic background is in business. And then I was a journalist, which is a different type of writing. I just figured it out. But here's the thing. Once you learn the voice, you learn how to communicate to your audience. In talking to this podcast, I don't have a framework on how to answer your questions, Chris. I'm just answering your questions. When you go to dinner with a friend, do you have a framework for how you're guiding the friend conversation? No, you're having a conversation. So you want to put the headline. So put on my journalist hat for a minute. I want to make sure that I give them the headline that's here, that's in the subject line. I pre-frame, why am I getting this email since you're on the mastermind waitlist? Okay, this isn't random. I apparently signed up for the waitlist at some point. And then I tease the headline again. Our mastermind is bigger and better than ever before. It's, okay, what's bigger and better? The big news. Oh, it's at the ballroom at Ryan's $250 million listing. Okay, good. Now I add credibility. Now I give details. Headline, excitement, awesome. Oh, it's in the Wall Street Journal. Cool, credibility, details. And then wrap it up. Make it, read the details. Okay, cool. Now take action. It's vetted. It's exclusive. This is the once in a lifetime opportunity. Let's go. And then you can read on for more details, but then it just basically says, reply to me.
No, I love it, especially because it's also something that I think as well. Frameworks are useful. It's more about immersing yourself in your audience, knowing the principles, and then actually like applying them as you write conversationally. So I totally agree. You mentioned learning the voice. In your case, how did you learn that voice? Did you do any research? Was it like speaking with a lot of customers? What did you do?
No, I listened. And it goes back to what I said. I listened to Ryan. I listened to him speak. I watched $1 Million Listing. I read his book. I listened to his podcast. I work for him. So I listened to him talk to me. But I do think that some people have an easier time. Like I said earlier in the podcast, I tend to be a chameleon. I tend to adapt naturally to the energy of the person across from me. It's a great sales skill for sure. It's a great speaking and podcast skill for sure. That doesn't come naturally to everyone. So there is an element of this is naturally who I am. I naturally am able to adapt to my environment. It's also a double-edged sword, which is if you spend too much time with someone who you don't necessarily like or gives off negative energy, you internalize it.
Yeah,
so
you lose your personality.
So it's like you got to be careful of your media diet, but I 100% recommend anyone who wants to learn a certain tone of voice, whether for their job or for themselves, should be listening to and listen. Don't just read. Listen to the way that they talk. Listen to the word choice that they have, and eventually you'll just absorb it if you listen to it enough.
Yeah. What kind of mistakes do you see from people who try to write in their own unique voice?
If you're trying to write in your own unique voice, I don't know that you can make a mistake because it's your own unique voice. Chris, what do you try to get at with that question?
I think it's mostly around either you know your voice or you don't. And that's why maybe you mess up.
So everyone has a voice, whether you know it or not. Everyone has a personal brand, whether it's curated or not. The way that you naturally speak is your voice. The question that you have to ask yourself, is this the voice that you want? Is this purposefully how you are showing up in the world, or are you just accidentally showing up in the world? You're showing up somehow. People are getting an impression from you somehow. Choice that you have to make is, are you going to guide that?
Yeah, be intentional again. And being intentional is something that a lot of my B2B SaaS clients can't manage to do often, especially when it comes to voice. A lot of
Why do you think that
companies, I don't know. I think it's being somehow bigger teams, and there's also the disconnection between marketing, sales, product teams as well. Sometimes it's hard maybe for them to come together and align on a specific voice, as only you create those silos. But what would you tell these teams as far as how to use their unique voice consistently, cohesively?
There's two things that I would say. Number one, in the age of AI, in which an AI tool can basically recreate your proprietary technological software invention in 2 seconds, the last remaining great moat is brand and community. It's the human touch and the people connection. Brand and community leads to distribution. Distribution leads to lower cost of marketing. Your lower CAC means to more sales. Brand and community. So if you want to create a moat for your business that is not your proprietary software platform, you need to have a point of view and you need to find your audience. I deeply believe too many companies are playing it safe without a point of view. Now, keep in mind, a point of view does not mean to have a point of view in politics. It does not mean to have a point of view in religion. It does not mean a point of view in any of the third rails. It means to have a point of view in where your industry is going and what your customers need to be successful. People want, and I could rephrase that, customers want. Tell me what to do. You are the expert. You're selling, I don't know, Chris, what's an example you want to use with software? What's a good software platform we can talk about, or just category?
Let's talk about, I don't know, even AI, like about Perplexity.
Oh, okay. That's more complicated. Let's talk about Perplexity. So we can do Perplexity. So your customers, Perplexity's customers are coming to Perplexity not because they're experts in AI. You are Perplexity. You are the expert in AI. Tell them how to use it. Tell them what you believe is the future of AI. I think OpenAI and Sam Altman does such a good good job at this because Sam Altman, and I don't remember if this was it may have been a year ago, basically got fired by his board and rehired.
Yeah.
That made Sam Altman a household name. And now you can't hear about OpenAI or AI as an industry without hearing about Sam Altman. That puts OpenAI on a massive step ahead of the rest. Now, OpenAI at the same time is now running the risk of being the generalist. So specialists are, I prognosticate, will be turning to it less and less because other companies that are more niche-y, like Perplexity, are going to carve out a niche and take away the generalist audience from OpenAI because OpenAI is a little bit murky.
Yeah.
But that's good. They should lean into that.
Yeah, one example of point of view, so Perplexity research comes to mind. Another one is, to me, Claude. They have this strong point of view around security, privacy, while OpenAI is a bit more open-ended. And
it's also called OpenAI.
Exactly. They allow you to do everything. And yeah, it's a really great point. To me as well, point of view, when it comes to my clients, is also the starting point for their positioning strategy, because it's the kind of the missing link between the narrative of the brand and what customers want. When you have that kind of hook, that's customers, you cut through the noise between all competitors because you have that unique insight that you can basically, have
absolutely a unique insight, and customers then look to you as the expert. People don't want to do anything. People are lazy. At the end of the day, they want, tell me what to do. And if your marketing can be prescriptive and tell them what to do, if you make it frictionless for them, if I just use that software, my problems in this area will be solved. Make it the easy path versus if you're just generically talking about generic things because you don't want to have a point of view, it's much harder for that customer to connect with that brand and see you as the solution they've been waiting for.
Yeah. I have one last question, which is, did you do any testing around that email specifically or other emails ever?
For sure. For most campaigns, we'll A/B test the subject line. And then whichever one's better, it'll go out. The email go out to all of them. A couple things to say here. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Yes, in a perfect world, we would A/B test every single email. We would say, is it better if it comes from this person or this person? And over time, we do run those tests and we get insights from them. For example, a marketing email, we tested this at Serhant, a marketing email from a person rather than the brand, whether it was me, my voice, the Kyle Scott voice, or the Brian Serhant voice, would get higher open rates than just saying from Sell It or from Serhant or from Sell It like Serhant, for sure. So things like that. So once you test it, you don't necessarily have to test it again.
Yeah,
for a while. But I would say there is a balance between speed and testing. Don't over test. If you've been doing this for long enough, you get a sense of what your audience likes. You get a sense of the headlines that work and don't work. And you don't have to overthink it.
Yeah, going back to that intuition. I think especially
but it's like data-driven intuition, which is you test it enough over time, you get the sense, you start to get it.
Yeah, experience and intuition. Love it, Kyle. Thank you so much for sharing. This has been super valuable, and we'll have the video as well. Where can people find you? So you are on Instagram, right?
Instagram at Kyle Scott Original. Sign up for my newsletter, kylescott.com. I do a quarterly newsletter with dispatches for what's going on in my personal projects, and then also talking a lot about personal brand building through tone of voice. I like to partner, I've discovered my whole mission largely is to partner with people with a large audience, founders, personalities with a large audience, and help them hone that audience to build a business, hone their brand, hone their tone of voice, and hone their backend systems. So ultimately they can monetize it and build a business around this. Because like I said earlier, the last remaining moat is brand and community.
Love it. And we'll close it here. This is a perfect quote. Thanks so much, Kyle.
I'll see you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for listening. If the episode sparked some ideas or made you rethink how you're doing messaging, check out the Message Market Fit Scorecard. It's free, quick to complete, and it'll show you exactly where your copy or strategy might be misaligned. You'll find the link in the show notes. And if you want to go deeper or just bounce ideas around, I'm always up for a chat. Hit me up on LinkedIn or Twitter at SilvestriChris. And of course, if you enjoyed the episode, leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify really helps more people discover it. That's it for this one. See you next time.